Welcome back, everyone. Let's jump right in. Today, we're moving way beyond pure aesthetics to explore this incredible world of functional mind-body strengthening. We're talking about your core, but honestly, probably not the core you're thinking of. Now, we already covered the foundational basics of planking in our The Power of Plank explainer, right? So today, we're taking things up a notch. We're going to look at how advanced yoga techniques build this invisible scaffolding that supports not just your physical body, but your mental resilience too. So let's dive into it.
First things first, here's a thought to completely shift your perspective. Your core is not just your abs. I know, for decades, the fitness industry has pretty much sold us on this myth of the six-pack as the ultimate indicator of core strength. But what we're learning from ancient yogic science and modern anatomy, actually, is that the true core is this highly complex, interconnected, and mostly invisible scaffolding. It's an intricate system that wraps all the way around your torso. So here's our roadmap for today's explainer. We're rethinking the core, looking at the plank foundation, diving into advanced planks, checking out core challengers, activating the three bandhas, and finally, connecting physical gains to mental strength.
Section 1. Rethinking the core, moving beyond the six-pack. Think about it for a second. What actually makes up your core? Most of us just immediately point to our stomachs, right? But your real core, it encompasses the muscles deep in your back, your entire pelvic region, your hips, and even your diaphragm. Basically, it's a 360-degree corset of muscles that literally holds your upper and lower body together. It's the whole shebang.
Now, let's look at the difference between isolation and integration. If you're doing, say, regular ab crunches, you're doing an isolation exercise. You're mostly just targeting those surface muscles. But yoga? Yoga takes a fully integrated approach. Poses like the plank engage your shoulders, your glutes, and those deep stabilizers all at the exact same time. And there's data to back this up. A 2013 study from the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research actually found that integration exercises, like the plank, yielded far better core muscle engagement across the board compared to just isolated crunches.
When we actually map out this invisible core, we're looking at several deep muscles. You've got the transversus abdominis acting like a deep corset. Then there's the psoas, the multifidus, and the pelvic floor. And here is the absolutely crucial point. These muscles don't just exist to produce movement. Their primary, most important job is actually to prevent unwanted movement. And that, medically speaking, is the true definition of stability.
Section 2. The plank foundation. High versus forearm.
Now, while they might look pretty similar at a glance, these two poses do very different things. The forearm plank keeps you closer to the ground, which takes the pressure off your wrists, and it heavily emphasizes those deep core stabilizers we just talked about, specifically the transverse abdominis. The high plank, on the flip side, shifts a lot more of the workload up to your upper body. It activates your arms, your shoulders, and your chest, which requires a lot more full-body coordination. Both are absolutely essential tools for your core building toolkit. Section 3. Advanced plank variations. We're talking side and upward planks.
Okay, let's break down the side plank, or vasisthasana. You start in a high plank, shift your weight onto one hand and the outer edge of your foot, stack that opposite foot right on top, and extend your free arm up. This pose is absolutely phenomenal for building lateral core stability. It literally forces your obliques and your back to fire up to protect your spine against rotational forces. That lateral strength is just vital. And you can push these muscles even further by integrating other advanced workouts, things like the half plank, a seated plank, or even a weighted plank if you really want to add some serious resistance.
And then we have the upward plank pose, which you might know from fitness circles as the reverse plank. You start by sitting with your legs straight, place your hands behind you, and lift your pelvis toward the ceiling until your body forms a straight, diagonal line. The Sanskrit word purva means east, which in yoga refers to the front side of the body. So this pose intensely stretches the frontal side of your body to perfectly counterbalance all that forward-facing compression from standard planks, all while deeply strengthening your back, glutes, and spine. It is a real game changer.
Section 4, Navasana and Chaturanga. These are the true core challengers.
Chaturangadandasana, or the four-limbed staff pose. This is basically yoga's push-up, but trust me, it is vastly more demanding on the core. You start in a high plank, shift your weight forward, and lower your elbows just to shoulder height, pinning them super tightly to your ribs. The most common mistakes we see here, letting the hips sag toward the floor or letting the elbows flare out. It takes immense core integration to keep your body as stiff as a board as you hover there above the mat.
All right, let's bust a massive myth right here.
So many people think boat pose is all about having perfectly straight legs, and they end up totally rounding their back just to achieve it. But the fact is, this pose is entirely about a straight spine. Maintaining that sharp V shape between your chest and thighs without collapsing your lower back, that is the true test of your psoas and hip flexors. If you need to bend your knees to keep your spine straight, do it. That is where the real strength is built, for sure.
Section 5. Activating the 3 bandhas, the internal locks.
You can kind of think of bandhas as subtle energy locks, but don't let the ancient terminology fool you. When we translate this yogic concept, it gives us a highly practical, incredibly functional approach to core engagement. Think of them as internal physical contractions that provide immense structural support from the inside out.
So, there are 3 major locks you need to know. First, Mula Bandha, the root lock, which gently lifts the pelvic floor inward and upward. Then there's Uddiyana Bandha, the abdominal lock. This draws the lower belly in and up, creating this feeling of lightness that actually helps yogis seemingly float during their movements. Finally, Jalandhara Bandha, the throat lock, which involves dropping the chin slightly to regulate energy. When you engage all 3 of these together, you create the ultimate internal scaffolding known as Mahabandha. It completely stabilizes your spine from the pelvis all the way up to your neck. It's pretty amazing.
Section 6. Physical gains, mental strength, the ultimate reward.
I want to share this really profound quote from yoga anatomist Leslie Kaminoff. He says, "The core is the center of gravity in the body and the place from which all intelligent movement originates." I love that. It beautifully bridges the gap. When you center yourself physically, you're actually training your mind to move intelligently and purposefully through the world, rather than just reacting blindly to whatever gets thrown your way.
And the bridge between that physical centering and mental resilience is your breath. Breathwork anchors your attention. Think about it. If you can train your mind to breathe slowly and calmly while your muscles are absolutely screaming during a 60-second chaturanga hold, you are quite literally training your nervous system to stay calm during a heated conversation at work or a stressful family situation. The mat is really just the practice ground for the real world.
Oh, and before we wrap up, just a quick reminder. As with any physical practice, always consult a certified trainer or medical professional before starting a new fitness routine or attempting these advanced poses, just to ensure they're safe through your specific body and health history.
If you enjoyed peeling back the layers of this topic with us today, please make sure to subscribe to our channel. We release informative explainers just like this one, diving deep into the science and practice of fitness, health, and the mind-body connection. You definitely won't want to miss what we have coming up next.
So I'll leave you with this final thought to take with you. If you can find calm in the literal fire of a pose like chaturanga, how will you use that newfound inner strength, that invisible scaffolding, to conquer the stress of your day-to-day? Think about it. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.